had this amazing little doozy here called Clair Obscur Expedition 33, who announced that only 3 days after launch, 3 whole days, basically faster than any PlayStation game in recent history.
Damn. Reminder.
After 3 days after launch, 1 million copies sold. They say thank you for believing in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And then, of course, the PlayStation haters came out of the woodworks being like, hey, that shit ain't 1 million copies sold. You are in Game Pass. We know you didn't sell that many copies. Game Pass cannibalizes sales. Didn't you hear? Didn't you hear? So they responded. That's right here. Let's see. This number includes units shipped to retailers and does not encompass our awesome Game Pass players. Is not including the Game Pass players. But how can that be? How can that be if it's sold better than what's that?
Marathon never will.
Oh, well, the Marathon, damn, for sure. Absolutely.
The Concord.
But it sold better than Astrobot.
Astrobot in the first 3 days?
In the first 3 days, for sure, 100%. And this game is sold out everywhere, by the way, physically. So not only are they at 1 million, we don't know whether they're going to announce that they pass Astrobot in like by the end of the week. So 1 million copies sold. And when you think about the fact that there's probably millions of people who played it on Game Pass, and you still have 1 million copies sold, that's fucking, first of all, kudos to them. But the narrative that Xbox Game Pass cannibalizes sales, I think we're done with it. Yes?
I mean, we should be.
I think we're done with it. I don't know what other way we can, sign language this shit to these people.
They're not done with it. But just as Hargeet says, expose.
It is exposed. Oh, you got the song for us in words. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hargeet.
Appreciate it. Yes,
I mean,
Hargeet, you ain't lying. It is exposed.
Yeah.
It is exposed, and it's all full of shit. But again, they run with these narratives to what? Self-soothe. They want to feel better about themselves. So they feel like Game Pass is a detriment. Because why? They don't have it. They hate us because they ain't us. So they mad. They big mad that Game Pass is not only the deal of a lifetime for gamers on Xbox and PC and TV and Amazon Fire Sticks and mobile. God damn, everything except for PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Wow, sucks to be them. Jeez.
Oh my God.
They hate the fact that it's not only an amazing deal for all those people, but it's an amazing deal for the dev. The dev gets paid to go into Game Pass, and they get all of that viral marketing to have that just spread their names.
It's not like they're saying, hey, if you take the Game Pass bag, you can't put it on other platforms. They just, if they want something in Game Pass, here, take the bag and go do you. Go make your money, So I think the problem also lies in the fact that as they pay for these games, it's a reminder that these games are in Game Pass, right? That we don't have to pay for them. That has to just hurt a little more.
100%. 100%. I mean, I mean, we get to have it free of charge, right? It's just part, and when I say free of charge, obviously I'm talking about in our subscription that we pay. And
I
they
mean, they
have
make it
to
sound
pay. They
like
have
we
to go
don't even
pay.
pay for a subscription. Like Gamepass is free. That's how they make it sound out there,
That's the way they
right?
make it sound,
I
for
mean,
sure.
so you're not wrong for saying it's El Gratis. It's El Gratis in comparison to what the fuck they have to do to get, their hands on one of these games. So yeah, but
It's also the highest rated game of 2025.
it's not, oh my gosh. It's not a PlayStation game and it's the highest
Mm,
rating game.
mm,
Mm.
yeah, nice little game made by indie, teaming up with Xbox to
Stunning game,
put it into
amazing
Game Pass.
story.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's, again, that's to show you that if PlayStation can just figure it out, they too can make great games,
I
right?
mean,
And
figuring out is
that's the problem,
the hard
right?
part for them.
They think that they have to spend all this money and have all these resources to go ahead and produce something that people will actually want to buy. But I mean, we're in the contrary, we're seeing that you can go ahead with the right passion and the right team, go ahead and make a game that people will show up for if it has creativity and is innovative, right? um
Agreed.
you can't knock it if it's special. And I don't
And
mean PlayStation
oh
special.
shit, damn!
Not that kind. Like the good,
I can't even do my voice now.
no, no, not right now.
Now you done fucking got me cornered. Um, you do. But real quick, this is not like Claire came out and basically through that there, right, brought up the fact that this doesn't include their amazing Game Pass players, right? And then it urged another Game Pass winner to come out and speak on it. And that was our homies over at Power World.
Yes.
That's right. Bucky went ahead and said Expedition 33 is the latest game to get unwillingly dragged through gaming Twitter as people debate the viability of Game Pass. I feel like I've just a little more knowledge on the topic than most. So I'll just say yes. Yes, it is very worth having your game on Game Pass.
Let's go.
Mm.
I love when people take a stand, right? Because people love to talk a lot of crap about things that they don't know they don't know anything about, right? And try to drag things through the mud. And the reality is, when you are out here and like you mentioned before, Expedition 33 made by an indie studio, yes, you want that bag up front. You want the support up front. You want the marketing from, Game Pass and the players in there. And then you also have the people have the option to go and show up on other platforms. That's a dream. I mean, we saw how well received Power World was, right? And to see a stunning game like Expedition 33 get the same, kind of welcome, right? By the gamers, that's a big deal. And well deserved, by the way.
Agreed. 100%. I mean, it's great when you have these people come out and slap up the narrative. You know what I'm saying? With actual like factual information.
Yes.
Bucky continued. I speak from the point of view of an indie, by the way. I have no experience working in the AAA space, so I'm not sure what sort of deals are cooked up there, but we have shipped 2 games on Game Pass and we're very happy with both. So all I can say is I'm happy with the experience I had. Again, just kind of doubling it down. And then of course, because he's happy with Game Pass, he writes this another banger tweet, but 20 plus notifications of people arguing every few minutes is so silly. So he muted it. because of course these losers are going to come in here, and I'm not even going to go through all the shit, but
No.
they're going to come in here and be pissy, right?
Of
Because
course.
he's destroying the pony narrative, right? That these devs are captive. They're getting dragged. Oh shit, I don't want to go into Game Pass, right? They're forced. Phil pulls up. Okay,
Get in the trunk, bitch.
get in. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like come on, man.
Oh my
Come
God.
on, let's keep it real.
I mean, I think that they're just projecting, right? We see the way that PlayStation does things. We'll help you finish your game, but it has to be just on our platform. Like, we know that, and they didn't call it out then, right? So to them, it must be the same way everywhere else. It's not. It's not.
Agreed. Farrell, what do you feel about this Game Pass is cannibalizing sales and nothing can succeed because of Game Pass. Game Pass is the worst. Yeah, Expedition 33 came out here, slap people up. Bucky from Power Road came, slap people up. I'm just trying to figure it out.
I mean, we have a lot of anecdotal evidence that, that for bigger games, it still doesn't quite cannibalize sales. Like the game still, if they're good games, they still tend to sell well. Starfield sold well. Call of Duty sold well. We've seen games that look like they were DOA, kind of going the way of a Marathon or Concord. Outriders got put in the Game Pass, and it quite literally saved that game.
Agreed.
So while what you lose in sales, I'm sure there is some sales loss when it comes to being in Game Pass. I'm sure there is some. But
you know what's the thing, Farrell, real quick? No sale is guaranteed.
No, it's
right?
not.
So
It's
as
not.
much as maybe the idea of losing sales is also like if it didn't sell well, if it wouldn't have sold well, you still have that bag.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Like what you lose in sales, you gain in marketing. And it's not the fake marketing that you put on the TV screen and people don't give it any mind. It's grassroots, word of mouth, genuine, I played the game and this is my experience with it marketing, which tends to do a lot better than print or commercial advertising. So what they lose in sales, they gain elsewhere, and they're also taking a upfront bag from Microsoft in some capacity. And some of these, like Microsoft, they cover the development costs of some of these games with how much money they give them to be in Game Pass in some cases. So like in the case of Expedition 33, they got about 30 devs plus administrative staff. They may have covered half of Expedition 33's development budget, maybe more, and they get to put that game out the door, not necessarily concerned with the sales of the game so much. I mean, the game is selling incredibly well. I just saw that it sold out for PlayStation on physical copies, and they had to apologize and say, "Hey, we're working on getting more physical copies out there. We didn't anticipate the game selling this well." So, are sales really cannibalized, especially a game like Expedition 33? If it showed up on a PlayStation stage on a state of play, does it have this level of success? We don't. No, we haven't seen that recently. We haven't seen a game show up on a state of play.
Actually,
from
everything
a smaller
PlayStation
studio
has touched has died, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We haven't quite seen that, but we do see the impact that Game Pass has from a grassroots marketing level, and the fact that these developers get the upfront costs. So whatever they lose in sales, they gain something on the back end beyond that, where it is tangible and worth it for them. So I don't see it as a net loss, which is what they're trying to portray, that these companies are taking a net loss to put it in Game Pass. They're not. Like these companies are winning.
Paid to put it in.
Yeah,
they're getting paid to put it in.
I mean,
they're prostitutes.
That needs to be clipped. That needs to be clipped.
And again, they are celebrating. So I don't understand when, the developers are out here celebrating and exciting. What are you pissed about? What are you
Yeah.
upset about? It's not like they're letting people go or shutting down the studio, right?
Yeah, for sure.
On the contrary, from what normally takes place if you take a bag from PlayStation, there are side effects to that deal.
They are. They need to, when you're signing a deal with PlayStation, there should be some dude at the end, like when you're about to sign, who sits there and just lists all the bad shit that's going to happen to you.
The medicine,
Yeah, like when you
the
take when you
commercials
buy
for
medicine.
for
Yeah.
medicine.
PlayStation dude is sitting there like, listen, yo, we're gonna put you into PlayStation Plus. You're gonna do amazing. It's gonna be great. You're gonna do awesome. Side effects means you might lose everything and you have to fire everybody. But
Hey.
listen, it might be good.
Square Enix, they lost half their company. They lost
They
half
did.
their company dealing with PlayStation. Like they lost the whole Western division of Square Enix. Like
They did.
messing around with them.
Absolutely, they
And then now they're stuck in like these 360 deals where they want to put all their games everywhere now, and PlayStation's like, nope, we got paperwork saying that you can't. So I
Oh.
mean, you can also go to a game that didn't necessarily suffer, but Resident Evil Village. They can't take a Game Pass bag, because of the contract they signed with PlayStation for the marketing deal. So I can't make more money because
That's why people ain't signing those deals no more.
Yeah,
those deals are gone, bro. As they watched all their homies get shot down in these streets.
Yeah.
From dealing
Seriously,
with PlayStation.
though.
They're like,
Seriously,
nah,
because
dog.
PlayStation wants to take ownership, right? Now,
Yeah.
whatever you make, I get a cut off, right? So this is where it
But
stays.
it makes sense, bro. They're fucking like grasping for their lives out here, trying to stay relevant outside of the box, right?
Yeah.
So they want to make sure people still show up and buy stuff here, and that's why they do it. They're
Yeah,
trying
it
everything
just
they can.
exposes the condition that they're in, though, right? Because Phil doesn't feel a need to go ahead and I mean, for from his words, right? They make games that are just, they know that they're not necessarily going to be the best-selling games, but they are passion projects, right?
Yes.
So when
Yes.
you have someone so devoted to the industry in games in that way, you're not going to go ahead and withhold a game from players to go ahead and have a studio shut down, developers not be able to make it, right? Having to let people go for what? So that you can make a couple of pennies because now you feel that game belongs to you because you gave them something up front. I mean,
Yeah.
make it make sense.
Callisto Protocol. They aligned with Sony and they don't exist anymore.
It was a great game too.
Yeah.
It was a really good game.
I'm telling you, bro, if you look at all the body bags and you track the history, they linked up with PlayStation at some point or another.
Yeah.
That's the road to death.
Freaking cemetery over there.
It's what it is. You know why? Because Sony don't pay. They ain't got no money. They don't got no money. They pay with promise. They pay with promise. They don't got the money to pay these people, right? They give them a little money. They say, hey, dog, man, listen, I got this, but don't worry. There's 75 million consoles. 75 million consoles. They're going to buy your game, man. You'll be exclusive. They're going to care. I promise they're going to care. At what point do they smarten the fuck up and realize, well, they didn't care about Astrobot?
That's what was crazy to see from an outside. I guess they had a way, it was to lure them in, I guess. I don't know what was lacking. Maybe, I mean, when you're down and you really need the help, it seemed like to not make sense. Like, if you bet on yourself for this long, continue on that path, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just have a little more to go.
Well, it's because they're desperate, right? They're desperate and they're hoping, right? And I mean, you see it happen and you see the results, right? You see people take these bags and look at that Tales of the Zuzu,
yes, the Zeus or something,
whatever,
yeah, I know which game.
Yes. Zao.
Yep.
Yeah, the EA game.
Yeah, they took the bag from
PlayStation.
Put the game day one, PlayStation Plus. And what do we find out afterwards?
Mhm.
They had to let go a shit ton of people. This is what
Yeah.
happens. So what happens. You take the bag. This is what happens. The homie RC Polygon in the
RC, what's
building.
good?
My dude. Thank you,
Thank
my brother, for
you.
being
Thank you
here,
for
man.
rocking out,
Appreciate you,
love.
homie. Thank you for being a member for 3 months, man. Appreciate you, fam. He
Thank
sends in a
you.
member chat and says, I know I'm fully huffing copium and hopium. I know I sound crazy, but it would be so great to see Xbox announce their buyout of Take-Two on
Woo!
the Xbox showcase.
That would be insane.
That
RC.
would be a fucking crazy. And then drop the next trailer for Grand Theft Auto. And
Oh
then
my
day
god.
one in Game Pass.
That would be
Yo.
crazy.
Yo, the world
Yeah.
would end. There will be an explosion of some sort that just takes everything out.
I'd have to at Christopher Drink for like a week.
He's still a thing?
Yeah, he was just saying how he just did a tweet about how GTA 6 wouldn't make sense for Game Pass. So if that purchase happened, you know.
Just like Call of Duty wouldn't make sense for Game Pass.
Nothing makes sense for Game Pass, according to all these clowns out there. Nothing makes sense.
Nothing at all. They are jacked, and that's just that's the truth. Ray Chi says, I can't find a physical copy anywhere in Canada. Xbox copies are all sold out.
Woo.
Yeah, this is a sellout across the board. So as far as like looking at the success metrics, again, look, a good game is a good game, right? That's great. But how many good
Agreed.
games come out that don't get bought?
A
Right?
lot.
A lot, right? So unlike PlayStation, where being exclusive to PlayStation doesn't lead to shit, when you take these deals on Xbox, because you're not exclusive, but you still get the amplification of Game Pass, where you got all the Xbox people are fucking amped because they don't have to think about what your game's worth, right? Because it's on Game Pass. So they just go ahead and they put these games, like the game comes out, we could just download it, right? We hit install and we're good to go. So you have all the hypeness there. And then, of course, you got what? The FOMO from the ponies who are sitting there saying, you guys, I can play it too. Okay? I can play it. I can fine. Get the credit card. 70. Thank you.
But even when it's not in Game Pass, like Xbox has done such a great job of developing a relationship with its consumers that when they show us good games, we trust that they're good and we're willing to purchase them. Like the Hypercharge game, the little indie game, it never made it to Game Pass.
Oh, that game was good.
Yeah, it never made it to Game Pass. And it had massive success relative to it being an indie. I think it sold like over like what 70, 80,000, like close to 100,000 copies on Xbox in like a relatively short period of time, and they were so grateful that it had the success that it had.
They're going to PlayStation and they start getting hate.
Yeah,
poor guy. He's all emotional and shit, and then it'd be what it be. You know, they'll learn. They'll learn to see what those people are. Because if they were exclusive over there, if they came out first over there.
Oh yeah,
they wouldn't even be here, bro.
No,
they wouldn't even be here, bro.
Yeah,
they wouldn't even be here, dude. It's crazy, but it's the reality.
It's true
because we actually have a relationship with Xbox as far as we're able to trust the products that they are pushing to us. That hey, this is good. Whether it be a vampire, you can go indie to AAA. If they show a game, we can trust that it meets a certain standard that we are looking for as an Xbox gamer. For the most part.
Yeah.
We got the homie Michael Yu in the building.
Michael.
Some breaking news.
Ooh.
Says Sony's upcoming first-party game, Lost Soul Aside, has been delayed 3 months. It was set to release on 5/29, but is now releasing 8/29. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see it. It says out of fear of doom. Got it. Man. Woo! But that's releasing
in an even worse window. because you're releasing it to that's the heavy hitter season.
Well, August, there's nothing technically
as of right now.
as of right this moment confirmed. Right, Wu-Chang is in July.
Well,
So-
Madden drops in August.
And it is the number one pre-ordered game on PlayStation right now. So that's gonna be a rough one for them.
Yeah, August is Madden, and then 2K comes out around like Madden and 2K come out August, September. Like the middle of August is Madden. The beginning of September is NBA 2K. So,
and if you want to know what the biggest pre-order game that's not Madden, it's Doom.
Yeah,
right there. So, yeah, it's who knows, man. Nobody's gonna care. Who cares? Think about what they said when I told you Lost Soul Aside, right? When I said those words, how much of your ears went, "Oh my God, Lost Soul Aside"? No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's another one of those games. It's just all the same shit.
It's one of those Black Myth games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. PlayStation is such a like derivative company where it's just the same shit over and over again. You go ahead, it was the Sad Dad walking simulator, right? That was their money bag. And then it dried up. Nobody wants it no more, right? So all of a sudden they go and now they think the hottest of the hotness is based off of what? Elden Ring. Elden Ring? Souls-like? Let's do those.
Yeah.
They buy the bag for Wukong. They have the way of the.
Oh, you talking about that samurai game?
Yeah, that shit that they first showed it was like super blocking and it looked so cool, but then they took it out and just made it regular.
The name of it.
Nobody can think of the name, Pharaoh. Think about that.
Yeah.
What Lost games? The games mean nothing.
Lost Soul Aside is a China Hero Project game, so it comes out like it's from that same group of people or same group of developers that made Black Myth Wukong. Not saying it's the exact same developer, but it's like that same cool.
Yeah,
Phantom. Yeah,
Phantom Blade.
Yeah.
You see, Phantom. Nobody even knows. You can't see them.
The thing is that the first trailer looked amazing, and then they showed real gameplay, and
then it went straight and became what? It became every other game. The first trailer made it look like they like cracked the code and found some magic way of developing these games that looked amazing and felt like it was going to be something that you never experienced before. And then they dropped the real trailer and it's like, oh, it's just another one of those. Got it. Great. Exciting. Woo. Can't wait to go to sleep immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm good. And listen, and obviously if you're a fan of those types of games, then you're golden, right? Because PlayStation is just that's all they got. That's all they got for you. And bad online games that nobody cares
about. I mean, it's a one-trick pony, right? They find the one thing and they just keep on doing it over and over again until it's just worn out. And it's just gotten to the point that by the time they're ready to release these games, nobody wants them anymore.
Yeah, they've lost all their creativity. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fad chasing. And by the time games take so long to make, like fad chasing was okay back in the PS3, Xbox 360 era. It took 2-3 years to make a game. But now it takes 5, 6, 7 years to make a game. So by the time you release it, it's a whole new fad.
They're done that.
If you're not making waves and you're chasing them, you're gonna have a tough time in the gaming industry right now.
Agreed. I mean, it's easy to move on now, right? There's so much that if you don't have a way to stand out and do something special, you're just gonna be left behind. No one's gonna show up for it. In the crucial situation that they're in where they need that money, they need players to pay up, even if it's not something that should be paid for. I mean, this is the problem that they're having, and this is why they're stuck in the situation that they're in.
Yep. And you know that game that they have coming out, Intergalactic or whatever?
Yes.
Oh, I know.
I think that game is destined to flop, and I think it's going to be Last of Us fault because because they've peddled Last of Us so much that you're going to get so used to Neil Druckmann's tropes that as soon as you play the game, you're just gonna see, oh, it's just a Neil Druckmann thing. You're not getting a breath from like his style of storytelling. Yeah, you're not getting any type of break. So I think it's gonna be.
If you listen to that fucking interview that he did, he was fucking. He couldn't take Elden Ring's junk out of his mouth enough, and he's so fucking like that's their inspiration now. That's the shit that got me fucking pissed because it's like, like I don't understand. Listen, I'm not saying that companies need to just make the same type of games, right? I'm not saying that. We've seen plenty of times where companies go off and can successfully convert to doing something else. But it doesn't mean that you have to leave behind, what you were known for, especially if you're not making games on a consistent basis.
That's the problem.
Right? Like if you got a 3-year rotation and it's like, hey, I made this type of game. I know you guys love it, but we're going to take a chance on this other thing, but we'll be back. Fine. But when you're taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when the fuck did The Last of Us 2 come out?
I think 2018, 2019?
No, 2020.
Oh, 2020. Yeah, 2020 sounds right. 2020 sounds right.
So 2020.
Still a long time ago.
So it's gonna be 6+ years because I don't think it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
But if it does come out next year, it'll be 6 years. But it'll be 6+ years that they've been working on a game. Obviously, we know Factions got canceled.
Factions too, which should have released.
But we also know that they said that they were working on this game since like 2020 or some bullshit like that. And that means even if I was excited for another game of their type, that I make it clear here. I know people don't like Last of Us. I love The Last of Us.
Stunning game. It's stunning.
Yeah.
Ahead of its time. And it's like it didn't need all the remasters that they continue to go ahead and put out there to try to it has not been long enough, right? You look at a game like Oblivion and what they've been able to give you, and it's like that's excitement, that's hype, right? Well, what people are looking for from Naughty Dog is another Naughty Dog game, right? Something that you're like, oh my gosh, look at what inspired them, what did they do? But when you're bringing something to the table and they're taking from everything else out there, you're like, okay, well, what happened to Naughty Dog, right?
I mean,
what happened to you? Because let's not let's not forget Akira was also an inspiration to Intergalactic, and I believe Cowboy Bebop as well. Like it was, so it's like you're taking from everywhere, but what are you bringing to the table?
Elden Ring, Cowboy Bebop, Akira,
and
Elden Ring. Great, that's what everybody was asking for.
I can definitely see Akira in the art style, like the clothing and all that. I can see Akira in that for sure.
Yeah, and then they did like the trailer was like a beat for beat almost of a Cowboy Bebop thing. So look, it is what it is when it comes to them. But the point is like they're not hitting anymore. They don't have excitement. Nobody's excited for what they got going on. Where this industry right now is fucked up, right? Like I don't have it as a top. Oh, actually, I do have it as a topic. I forgot. So we'll talk a little later about EA, right? EA is going ahead and they did cancel some stuff. They fired some people, right? Things are real rough right now. And by the way, I know who we're going to blame for what took place with EA. So we're going to talk about that also. But point is that the industry's rough right now. And the fact that PlayStation, even in the bad situation that the industry's in, even in the bad situation that they are in, are still pushing this idea of, hey, we need this shit. If you're going to put your game over here, we'll give you a little bit of money, but it's ours. Don't put it anywhere. You just got to deal with the 75. Listen, if your game's not good, they're not going to buy it. But if it's great, they'll all buy it. Like, that's the bullshit pitch they want to give. When you have Xbox on the other side of the fence saying, hey, listen, put your game in here. We're going to give you some money. But it's Game Pass, which means you can still sell it. Xbox players are still going to buy it. PlayStation players are still going to buy it. PC players are still going to buy it. When the Switch 2 comes out, Switch 2 players are still going to buy it. Right? Xbox is giving these developers freedom to still survive.
It's like watching good and evil take place side by side, and
crazy,
you're like,
but it's
it really is though. It's crazy.
Xbox creates a environment where everyone wins, where PlayStation creates an environment where they're going to win, and if you win also, they're happy for you. Good for you. You won too.
But you see, it plays out just like in real life, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's so much malicious intent there that they destroy themselves. And that's exactly what's happening to PlayStation. They're so caught up in what they're going to gain, and they don't care who they step on and what they do. And they ended up they're destroying themselves.
Like the whole crossplay thing. I don't know if people remember, but they wanted to charge developers for lost sales if they opened up crossplay.
That's crazy.
So it's like, like things like that. Like they're gonna make sure that they win no matter what. And if you win in the process, they're happy for you. Let's do business again. Type thing. Like they leverage their brand power, but they don't actually do much to help developers and publishers
if you
outside
win
of that.
in the process, it's because of them.
Well, that's what they like. That's how. That's what they would like to think. Yes. So, but they don't even give you a good stage anymore to showcase your titles. Nobody has liked the state of play in so long. Even when they have good games on the stage, no one's impressed because no first party is there to go along with it. So like we don't care how good the third party looks because there's no first party there.
Dude, how are you gonna have a PlayStation state of play in the game that you're focusing on is not a PlayStation exclusive? What that tells me is that you have no interest in your PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah, like even Marathon wasn't worth a state of play to them. They did a
That's what I'm
separate
saying.
type
Like,
thing.
you could have done that instead. You could have done Ghost of Yote instead. But all you did was say, hey, third-party game that doesn't need PlayStation's Dev Direct or I'm sorry, state of play. Fucking Borderlands doesn't need PlayStation's fucking state of play.
Yeah,
they could have just dropped the video.
Neither does Doom. Doom's getting one.
Dude, they look, I mean, that's what the crazy shit is.
Yeah.
PlayStation is saying they're rather invest where they know they're going to make money.
Well, I mean,
so they'd
they're
rather
finally
amplify
listening,
the shit they know is going to sell.
Right? They're finally listening to their audience. This is what they're going to show up for. They have a higher chance with these games than their own.
Yeah.
And with listen, the level of quality of the games that we're getting this year, it's insane. And if you're going to showcase something that's going to be on your platform, I mean, good on them for understanding that their games aren't it. That is not what they should be highlighting and showcasing for their box. I think this is about the box.
Yeah.
And what you could play that will look better than whatever they have to give you.
You know, the crazy shit is that, I don't think anybody wants bad games, right? I think everybody would love for games to be made and have them be dope. And they would love to be able to be like, man, Xbox first party makes bangers. Nintendo first party makes bangers. PlayStation first party makes bangers. That is what we would like to have happen, right? The problem is PlayStation seemingly has given up on pushing that quality bar. You know what I'm saying? Like they are, like everything we've seen from them is just not really there. And I don't know, man. I feel like what you said before, Farrell, at a time where 100%. We didn't know which way it was going to go. We knew that was the feeling of it, but now that we're in 2025, the idea of them being, and I use this all the time, Farrell, because I feel like it's just so like it was just on point. The fact of Sony being similar to a Valve is just what it is at this point. It's just Steam. It's just a store. The Steam store, the PlayStation store. That's all it is. It's just the PlayStation store. They got a whole bunch of boxes out there. People buy games on the store. They don't buy PlayStation games on the store. That's the only difference. Valve, at least their audience wants Valve's games.
Yeah.
PlayStation, not so much, right? But they're a store, right? And they'll release a game every once in a while. And again, the difference is Valve release something, it's going to change the world for a little while. Fucking PlayStation release something, nobody even cares anymore. It's crazy how they're similar but so different.
Yeah,
right?
I would assume that after Soros, the Fair game comes out and Marathon comes out. If all three of those games flop, I would assume that at that point they'll start spinning off studios. I don't think they'll close any more studios. I think they'll start trying to sell them, like similar to Tango.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, I think you'll get a mix. I think you'll get some of them closed, like the ones that nobody cares about, like Ben Studio. They're probably not long for this life. What's the other one? The one that made that fucking stupid Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is not the stupid one. The one they made after. Dreams. Dreams.
Oh, Media Molecule.
Little Big Planet was good. It's so creative.
Which one?
Little Big Planet.
The first one,
the first two.
Times,
It was, and then they kind of got a little out there.
Then they started focusing on Sackboy, like everybody gave a shit. Right?
They should have just. I don't know how they find a way to mess up what they have going on. That's good. It's frustrating. It's almost like intentional. But yeah. They had a nice variety of games and they shut that down as well. I would love and Neil is getting his fix from the show. But yeah, I would love to see, Naughty Dog, some of their studios kind of really just show up with what they can do. Because I feel like it's they're kind of like wasting their last years of wanting to do this and kind of watching them go by. In a place where they can't necessarily be inspired or express what they can do.
Yeah,
it's sad, really.
I feel like the developers at Sony have made a lot of really good creative games, but I think Sony themselves or PlayStation themselves has just done such a horrible job of marketing them and pushing them to an audience and actually building a relationship with their consumer base that they've been forced to like make cookie cutter games now, and where they're all kind of starting to get kind of samey, or they're trend chasing. So they're either really samey or they're starting to trend chase. But I still think that they have people there who are creative, but I don't think Sony is comfortable investing in creativity at the moment.
I mean, they're unfortunately they're not the place for creatives.
Yeah.
Creatives need to be able to take risk.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to take risk over there. Yeah. Everything they think, like I remember, what was that shit we were talking about the last show we did, where that other the Concord developer said that he's so proud of them for taking a risk and making an extraction. What the fuck, bro? The fuck out of here. They already have Destiny. They're just making some other shit. There's not a risk in the sense of what they chose to do. It was a risk in the sense that they suck ass now. Yeah. We know they fired all the creative people that ever did anything that was good at that company. That is where there is a fucking difference. That's where there's a risk. They don't have that shit no more. Sony thinks this is a slam dunk. They're seeing the numbers. They're having deja vu of Concord, but like, no, hold strong. This is just a blip. They're all on vacation.
That game
Okay,
needs
they're
a
all on
year, a whole another year before they even think about releasing it. If
that game
they,
needs a whole nother generation, bro. Get that shit the fuck out of here. Okay, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You need a single play. Go delete all your extraction shit. Find a way to make it an exciting single player game and release that. Maybe co-op.
yeah,
Max.
Let's bring Coach Hooded Canuck in real quick. What's up, fam jam?
Coach in the building.
Coach says Sony doesn't like creative ideas. They steal from everyone else, rename it or reboot it as their own.
Facts.
There we hold on real quick.
Got the next
Oh,
one.
I
Right there.
moved it. Can you?
Microsoft, Xbox are the only ones letting developers take those risks. Pentiment was a risk. Redfall was a risk. Hi-Fi Rush was a risk. Michael U. Hobson, South of Midnight was a risk. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
M-rated platformer, you don't really see those.
No.
Oh.
No. And I mean, to Xbox's credit, they hired or they purchased amazingly talented teams. And in doing so, they went ahead, gave those teams creative freedom, gave those teams financial freedom, not like, hey, go spend $1 billion, but hey, for a team your size, you can have a good enough budget to make this happen.
Yeah.
And these teams have delivered. Again, since Redfall, which even Redfall I enjoyed, but that was kind of like the catalyst for all this, right?
Yeah.
Redfall was the absolute moment that everything changed as far as what Phil was willing to accept, right?
Yeah.
So not that he's now all of a sudden saying fuck these people. He's saying no. If you need the time, take the time.
Yeah.
Figure this shit out, do it right. Right? We're not rushing these people. That's why they want more and more, because if they have more and more, no more need to rush. Right?
Yeah.
If you're a studio and you can't make a phenomenal game with no hard deadline and no absolutely hard budget line, not that they don't have budgets, but of course, if you need it, Xbox can provide. If you have all of that available to you and you still can't release a banger, then I'm sorry,
Back up.
man. Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out. Like, close them down or sell them. Because
Yeah.
if you can't do your best work at the best of times, like where you have the freedom,
Yep. Full creative freedom.
what is your purpose? You know what I'm saying?
True.
Now, the teams over there, I mean, they seem to have some time, but it just seems like whatever the fuck ideas they have are the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's been 6 years for Naughty Dog, and their idea was to steal ideas and go ahead and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, when you're at the point that Naughty Dog is doing this as well, and I mean, Shuhei did say he right, that puts everything into perspective. But Shuhei did say you can pitch your ideas, right? If it aligns with what they're looking for, then it's a go. And that's why they were making the same type of games, and look at them all getting canceled. Again, he said it, you can show up. But unless you found a way to make it what they're looking for, it's not going to get approved.
Days Gone, prime example. It was a game. It was probably like their best-selling brand new IP in like recent memory, and they said, "Oh no sequel," because we didn't like how it reviewed.
Well, you can see obviously they're giving it a second chance, right?
Second wind.
Yeah, they're saying, hey, let's remaster it by literally releasing the identical game with no changes whatsoever. But it's a remaster, guys. And I mean, honestly, have people been talking about it?
No.
Have you heard people excited, be like, I can't believe I'm getting back into Deacon's boots? You know what I'm saying? Like, is Has that been the scuttlebutt? You know,
No.
these streets. I don't think so.
Too many games released in its launch week for anybody to really care.
Agreed.
You had like what Indie released for PlayStation. Indie released
And Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon released today, right? Did it release today for
The
PlayStation?
29th. Yeah.
Yeah, so it released today for PlayStation.
But it was early access 3 days early. So
and didn't one of the developers say that, you know, we have a story, like if they wanted to make another Days Gone,
he has like it's like a trilogy that he already has, like
so it's like if you want to do something with Days Gone, like go ahead and start working on the next game.
Well, no, it's not. No, he doesn't work there anymore.
No, I know that, but figure it out. What I'm saying is, instead of, if you think that this is something that may do well, like people don't want the same damn old thing over and over again. Yes, PlayStation, go ahead.
Why not do it? They
reach out, make it happen, and then go ahead and right before, you know, once you're hyping people up for the upcoming game, go ahead and remaster the first game and, you know, make it hand in hand so that they can elevate each other. There's such a lack of understanding when it comes to this stuff, and it's a company that it just, you can see how many people have left that built PlayStation, right, and put it where it is, where it was, right? Because right now the people in there making the decisions, and they're just not it.
No, they're not. And you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. That being said, I think our conversation has cleared up the idea that Game Pass cannibalizes anything outside of Pony's hearts and attention. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes over them for sure in every way, shape, or form. They think about it, they dream about it.
What I would say is that even if it did, who gives a shit? That's the competition. It's
also not your problem.
It's not. It's really not. For those who are signed up for Game Pass, for those who will be signed up, who want to be a part of it, great. It's not their problem that you want to go out there and pay full price. If you are not making a game that is catching our attention and it makes us want to take out our wallet and buy the damn game, because we're not against that. Just put something on the table that is worth picking up.
Yeah.
So either show up with something great, but don't find somebody to blame because no one's buying your crappy ass game. Right. This is the competition. Everyone has an option. So whatever Game Pass is doing that may or may not affect other developers, that's not Xbox's problem. 100%. The idea that they're not gatekeeping Game Pass and saying just all of our games are going in there, right? They're still handing out bags, right? I mean, take your win. But coming out here and having a problem with something that you cannot stop, it's not going to change anything. Kick and scream and blame and point fingers all you freaking want. Don't enjoy it. No problem. Wait until it gets more expensive, right? Keep paying full price for the games that Xbox has in freaking Game Pass that you just can't control yourself and you have to go ahead and pay full price for. That's your problem. But I mean, again, it's not going to change what is taking place.
100%.
Yeah.
Bars. I see the homie. Motherfucking Sir X-Men in the building.
Sir X-Men, what's up?
Brother, how you doing, man?
Thank you for being here.
So it's just got the $70 version of the Avatar game for $25.
Ooh, let's go. Xbox. Enjoy.
Beautiful thing, man. Enjoy, brother. Enjoy. All right. Farrell, I am hearing a little more feedback coming from your thing. I don't know why.
I don't know either. It's like it's quiet as a mouse down here.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know what it is.
Maybe is it the volume?
I don't know, but I mean, right now I don't hear it, so maybe you moved in. It's better. We do have the homie RC Polygons in the
RC,
building,
what's
man. Thank you, my
good?
brother, for being here, man. Thank you for the $5
Thank
super chat.
you. Thank
Says,
you,
I
love.
would not mind if Xbox spends the money to grab Insomniac and Sucker Punch. Have Insomniac go work on Sunset Overdrive 2, prototype for Sucker Punch.
Well, prototype's already being worked on, apparently. So
is it?
That's what
Is
they've
that
been
rumored?
saying. Yeah, it's rumored that in development. I don't know what team is doing it, but apparently it, you know.
That'd be dope. That'd be real dope.